Thank you for watching, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. Now, I love pirates. More importantly, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I love the franchise. I love all the movies, as some of them may not be as good as the others, but overall, Pirates of the Caribbean is my jam. I love Captain Jack. I love the Black Pearl. I love everything about those films. Now, I wanted to celebrate the new movie coming out today by playing a good Pirates of the Caribbean game, and it turns out that most of them weren't so hot. So I thought, you know what? Let's see if the Lego version of this world is any good. So with that said, today we're going to be taking a look at Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game, on the Xbox 360. Let's begin. Yes! No, you're not going crazy. It's 2017, and we're about to get yet another Pirates of the Caribbean movie. The film series we all would have sworn was dead and buried has returned from the grave, this time with promises of ending the series once and for all. Again, it may be easy and hilarious to poke fun at Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm actually a huge fan of the franchise, something which my friends and loved ones find much joy in roasting me for. Sure, the series has its problems, but those movies are always good for a potent dose of visual spectacle and some good old slapstick. The perpetually drunk guy fell down. To celebrate the release of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, I'll be completing a Pirates game for the very first time. This series has apparently had a long history of awful video games, and the one that looked the least nauseating to me was Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. I love Pirates of the Caribbean so much that I have been dreaming for the pirate game to play. And before all of you tell me Assassin's Creed Black Flag, yes, I've played that. But I just dream. I dream of an excellent pirate game in which you are just badass from start to finish. Lego Pirates was released in 2011 to coincide with the release of the fourth film in the series, On Stranger Tides. No, it's true. The movie that's just coming out right now is not the fourth film. There was actually already a fourth movie that came out 6 years ago. It had Penelope Cruz and a mermaid. Not ringing any bells, huh? That's okay. No one else remembers either. The people at Traveler's Tales were well into their groove when they made Lego Pirates, so all of the Lego series trademarks are present and accounted for in this game. You'll build your way through the Pirates movie franchise, battling past brick people to collect anything and everything that looks remotely important. And just like many other Lego titles, Lego Pirates was met with middling reviews, mostly due to its lack of innovation to the Lego formula. It was simply a solid typical example of what the franchise was known for, like the McDonald's cheeseburger. But seeing as how I've only played one other proper Lego game, I don't expect to be too bored by the heaps of more of the same that this game apparently brings to the table. Plus, I'm a huge Pirates fan, so what would be serviceable to a normal player, I just might find exceptional. Like a McDonald's cheeseburger. Seriously, every now and then, those things taste like coming home again. Completing this game will assuredly require me to stretch my collecting muscles, with plenty of stages doubtlessly needing to be replayed several times in order to locate all the tiny pieces of crap hidden throughout. The only things I'm wary of are the possible existence of rogue achievements created to artificially and unnecessarily pad the game's length. I really don't want to have to collect 1 million studs again. I have things I need to do.
What, like go see Pirates 5?
Yes, I love this franchise. I'm gonna see the fifth one. You can't shame me. The plan of action is the very same one that I implemented back for Lego Star Wars. First, I'll finish the game's story mode. Then I'm gonna go back and do every mission again on free mode, making sure to grab every collectible that I can. Then I'll make one final sweep for all leftover achievements and unlockables. As much as I enjoy the world of Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm somewhat relieved that I only have to play through 4 movies as opposed to LEGO Star Wars' 6. I'm not expecting too rough of a time, but doing it all will require some time. Time that could be spent on, I don't know, watching the original Spider-Man trilogy?
Are you trying to roast me for liking the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
That's you! You're the one that likes those movies!
Oh yeah. As faithful as ever to their laundry list of licensed properties, the story in LEGO Pirates closely follows that of the actual Pirates of the Caribbean films, albeit with some liberties taken here and there for the purposes of time because those movies run long, and for comedic effect because putting a banana into a sleeping dude's squid beard is funny as hell. But just like it was with LEGO Star Wars, it's hard to describe this game's story since it technically covers more than one movie. But to ensure that everyone is on the same page when it comes to the main characters and basic premise, I'll just go over the first film. Dude, everyone knows what these movies are about!
No one remembers the plots! It's just a bunch of people betraying each other and falling down over and over.
Fine. Curse of the Black Pearl. It's pirates time, and Elizabeth Swann is all swoony over her beau, Will Turner. She accidentally drops a cursed medallion into the sea, which summons the Black Pearl and its crew of pillaging, kidnapping ghost pirates. Also, Jack Sparrow is here. Dead Man's Chest. Little evil Lord Beckett is set on bringing Jack Sparrow to justice. Big evil Davy Jones is set on collecting Jack's debt to him and forcing him to be a part of the ship, part of the crew. Part of the ship, part of the crew. Run, Jack, run! At World's End, Jack got ate up by a kraken, and now the gang's gotta rescue him from Stone Crab Limbo. On Stranger Tides, Blackbeard, Fountain of Youth, Mermaid, Penelope Cruz, boom! That's all you need to know. And even though so much of this game's story is told through cutscenes, I really don't mind that. They're that whimsical and charming. Traveler's Tales is clearly not attempting to convey every little nuance from the film's plots. It's about portraying the beats that are absolutely necessary and leaving room for as much fun as possible. I don't think anyone would make the mistake of trying to fully grasp the pirate saga just by playing this game. That's what Wikipedia pages are for. The visuals do indeed seem like a LEGO playset come to life, which in reality is far less spooky than it sounds. The locations throughout the game perfectly capture the diverse atmospheres of the film, ranging from bright and tropical to dark and gloomy. And all of the big set pieces you'd expect to be represented are here. Of course, the developers had to stretch out or ignore certain scenes in order to make room for gameplay. If the trip to Tia Dalma's place was actually this complicated and dangerous, I doubt they even would have bothered in the movie. The lighting and coloring has been significantly improved since LEGO Star Wars, and the minimal UI keeps the screen looking clean and spiffy. Aside from some jagged edges here and there, this is the best looking LEGO game I've ever played. And I know it's not saying much, but it's very pretty. The roster of playable characters is utterly bananas and includes everyone from all the characters that you forgot about to all the characters you never knew even existed when you saw the movies. Like, did anybody else know that this guy's name right here was Marty? Now I know his name's Marty and that he carries a big ass hand cannon. That's fantastic! There are quite a few inclusions that are just differently costumed versions of the same character. Elizabeth alone has an entire wardrobe across the game's character selection screen. But I guess for diehard fans, leaving out Cannibal Chief Jack would have been a punishable offense. Plenty of personality is expressed through these little guys' movements and animations. Gibbs hustles from place to place, Bootstrap Bill sulks, and Captain Jack flails around. It's perfect. These little touches are extremely welcome when the entire cast shares that same cold, soulless face. Thankfully, LEGO Pirates uses the undeniably best part of the entire Pirates franchise, the soundtrack. The music in the game is ripped straight from Hans Zimmer's genius German brain. Whether you're mid-combat or just perusing the game's menus, the score is absolutely fantastic. The way that the score is mixed to reflect and change with the actions you take in the game makes it all the better. It ramps up when you're kicking ass and gracefully chills out for the game's more contemplative moments. And no matter how many times you go back to the results screen, it's always hype as hell when He's a Pirate starts up. This game was made well within the period in which Traveler's Tales was still opting to keep their characters nice and mute. That's right, I prefer my minifigures to stay silent. I'm not racist against brick people or anything. I just think that the creativity that comes as a result of keeping your characters quiet is charming and delightful. Everything that needs to be conveyed about these characters is done so successfully, with the minimal noises that the LEGO people make. But it's weird, many of Jack's grunts and groans are actually those of Johnny Depp lifted right from the movies. So in a way, they're even more authentic than anything a hired voice actor could have provided. LEGO Pirates is even more gloriously cartoonish than the films it's based on, if you can believe that. And that's wonderful. Even in its most dire moments, this game is a good time. When people think of LEGO games, they often think of them as games for kids. But in reality, they're games for everyone. There's a difference, and with this game, there's bound to be something for everyone, even if you're not really into pirates or LEGO. Like bananas and squid beards! Oh my god, everyone can enjoy that! The gameplay in LEGO video games is almost as reliably constant as the toys themselves. Those things haven't changed designs in years, and LEGO Pirates plays almost exactly like its LEGO video game cousins. You'll move from area to area, fight off a slew of enemies, and when the fighting is over, you'll have some breathing room to collect your items. Sure, it's repetitive and maybe overly simple, but it's also pretty fun, especially when doctored up with that special Pirates of the Caribbean flavor. The first order of business in completing this game is playing through the game's story mode, which has the player tackling each movie one by one in a series of 5-level campaigns. That comes out to a nice healthy 20 levels, with the game occasionally shaking things up with levels that feature quirky one-off mechanics, like an entire stage in which you have to roll around in cages made of bones. Your selectable characters in story mode are dependent upon whoever happened to be around during whatever part of the movie you're currently playing through, but you'll always have the right dudes in your party to allow you to advance. You can switch between party members at any time, but there's a little strategy involved with this since every character has their own strengths, weaknesses, and unique abilities. You heard me right. Not all LEGO people are created equal. For example, silver items can only be destroyed by characters with explosive weaponry, molten LEGO pieces can only be crafted by people with blacksmith skills, and apparently, in this universe, ladies are the only ones who can double jump. You know what? I'm fine with that. Not gonna question it. When you need a break from the action, you can retire to the game's hub area known as the port. From here, you can select your next stage, explore a bit, and interact with several NPCs who apparently don't have jobs since they're just wandering about. The port starts off as a pretty small area, but grows to massive sizes as you progress through the game. That road to completion may be paved with collectibles, but before you can start hunting for valuables, you've usually got to take out all the scallywags trying to murder you. The combat is exceedingly simple, but still fun to swashbuckle your way through enemies. Most foes go down in just 1 or 2 hits, but the occasional bosses are beefy boys. Fighting them can be a bit more fun and involved, since they'll usually have some fun elementary puzzle elements tied to their battle. And if you still somehow manage to fall in battle, you'll respawn after just a second of downtime. Yes, you'll lose 2,000 studs each time, but they can be reclaimed very easily. With punishments this lenient, you can honestly turn your brain off and just go ham, which is what I think you're supposed to do with the movies too. And ain't nothing wrong with that though. When you finally cut down everyone in your way, you're free to solve LEGO Pirates' many environmental puzzles. Just like with the combat, they'll never really challenge you too much. And if you just can't figure out what to do next, it probably means that you don't have the right abilities among your party members. Which of course then means that there's nothing critical locked behind the puzzle anyway. No matter what you do, you'll be rewarded with studs, the game's simplest and most abundant collectible and form of currency. These things are everywhere, so much so that it's literally an achievement-worthy feat to finish a level without collecting any at all. Each level has its own stud goal that, when reached, will reward you with the rank of True Pirate, which leads me to believe that the only member of the cast who's ever accomplished this was Jeffrey Rush. I mean, out of every character in the franchise, he's the greatest and by far the closest to a true pirate. Just look at this motherfucker. What an absolute badass! Each time you reach the rank of True Pirate for the first time in a level, you'll be rewarded with yet another of the game's collectibles, a golden brick. These things are kind of like your proofs for completion for most of the game's main tasks. You get one each time you complete a main story mission, and each time you locate every piece of yet another set of collectibles, the mini kits. These things are by far the most well-hidden collectibles in the game. Some are locked behind secret out-of-reach areas, others require you to complete puzzles, and others might need to be beaten out of enemies. Each and every level has 10 of these bastards tucked away inside of them, and if you manage to find all 10 in a stage, you'll be rewarded with a golden brick and a fully constructed ship in a bottle. If you head to the docks area of the port, you can check out all of your collected ships. Then, if you break the glass, they'll appear on the water where you can ride them and terrorize NPCs for all eternity. Never-ending pillaging? That's kinda neat. Let's go. And we're not done there. There are a set of 8 collectibles in each level that can only be found by using Jack's compass item. He's our main hero after all, so of course the developers had to make him way more special and useful than everyone else. When you whip out Jack's compass, it brings up a dial with 8 pieces of treasure. When you select one of them, the compass will guide you toward the treasure, which is buried or hidden somewhere in the immediate area. Collecting all 8 pieces of treasure in a level will give you a gold brick, but the drawback is that while Jack is using the compass, he moves slower than Elizabeth and Will's romantic subplot. He can't jump or perform any other actions while he's searching, leaving him completely vulnerable. Look, I don't mind collecting tons of useless stuff, but do I have to move like I have arthritis? Damn! Even when you're not in a level, there's still stuff to collect. Namely, the red hats. These things are your key to breaking the game wide open, giving you access to different cheats that make the game a lot more bearable. They can all be found in various spots around the port, and each has a different unlock condition and price point. But the rewards are usually worth it. In a game where collection is everything, having cheats that point out where secrets are located, allow you to breathe underwater, and cumulatively multiply your stud earnings will shave off hours and hours of unnecessary grinding time. And the very last collectible in the game are the characters themselves. Like I said before, the roster is massive and there are achievements for unlocking them all. Unfortunately, getting them all is a little bit more complicated than it was in LEGO Star Wars. Instead of being able to buy them from a shop, you gotta track them down in the port. If you see someone you don't own wandering around, you have to walk up to them, interact with them, and then buy them. The problem is that the characters who are walking around at any given moment are completely random. If you're looking for someone specific, you gotta get lucky. However, you can up your chances by starting a brawl. Every time you take one of the NPCs out, they're replaced with another random one from the pool. So I guess the lesson here is, if you don't see what you want, punch people until you do. Thank you, Disney. The lion's share of collecting isn't done in the story mode. Instead, free mode is your personal playground for hunting things down and fetching them like the dog you are. You can use any characters you want, giving you access to every possible secret area and collectible that the game has to offer. Free mode is basically when the true version of LEGO Pirates begins, but unfortunately, that does mean beating the game completely for a second time. Thankfully, tracking down all the collectibles is simple when you're following a guide, but honestly, you don't need one. It's just a matter of time and thoroughness. If you want, you can activate the game's co-op mode and enlist a buddy to help. There's even a split screen capability this time around, but unfortunately doing so makes the frame rate dip pretty damn hard, meaning a second player might impede you more than they might help. But it's not like you'll need the help anyway. This game is more of a systematic checklist than it is a challenge, but I'm down with that. Not everything needs to stretch your brain or the limits of your patience. There's plenty of room in the video game world for games like LEGO Pirates. I might be biased since I love Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'd like to think that just about anyone would be won over by the way that Traveler's Tales has depicted this world and its characters. Even the snootiest of critics who turn up their noses at the mere thought of another Pirates movie, ready to poo-poo it even before it even releases. You're the real monsters, movie critics. Rotten Tomatoes is built on an empire of heartlessness. Thank God. I don't think I could have handled it if this game even gave me the finger in return for all my hard work. But it didn't give me the finger. It actually rewards its players with a few little cool rewards and one very nice payoff for going the distance. Firstly, there are some codes that you can use to unlock certain characters just in case you don't feel like spending studs on them, but one of these characters can only be unlocked via a cheat code. If you input the appropriate code, you can unlock a special version of Jack Sparrow called Dancing Jack. This dude comes with his own theme song, the original Pirates of the Caribbean theme song from the ride at Disneyland. Fun fact, that's my favorite ride at Disneyland. I will ride that for hours. And he has a special ability that forces all the enemies around him to start dancing too. He's got the same power as Michael Jackson in the Moonwalker game. Now you don't need Dancing Jack for your completion totals or anything, but he's good for a laugh. But the best reward of all is tied to your gold brick count. As you collect them, you'll amass golden Lego pieces in the town area of the port. Once you've gotten all 84 gold bricks in the game, you can assemble those gold pieces into a golden mast, which opens up a nearby golden door. Enter the door and you'll be whisked away by boat into an area based on the classic Pirates of the Caribbean ride. You're inside the actual ride, complete with the song from our childhood. Now this is a bonus that makes me a little teary-eyed. You get to fight your way through 3 different rooms, each based on a little different set piece from the films, and each with their own waves of enemies, which is no different from how the rest of the game plays, but at least you get to listen to that song the whole time. Be aware though that this bonus level also has its own set of buried treasure, so taking some time to hunt them down with Jack is important. Once you finish the level, you'll get the final gold brick and a big lump of nostalgia in your throat. Sure, it's not much, but some thought was put into it, so I appreciate that. Unfortunately, there aren't any other bonuses for completing collectible sets in the game. Nothing for getting all the mini kits, nothing for getting all the buried treasure, and nothing for getting the final gold brick. It's kind of a shame considering that collecting is the name of the game, but after that trip down memory lane, I can't imagine what they would do to top this. While completing LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean, there were 70 characters unlocked, 85 gold bricks collected, 20 red hats obtained, 32 hours of total playtime, well over 9 billion studs collected, and 12 hours of mandatory cultural sensitivity class that I have to attend because of my remarks about brick people. You have a rich and fascinating culture, and your people contribute heavily to the betterment of society, even though you all have exactly that same old creepy ass face. LEGO Pirates was an absolutely chill time that never got on my nerves, no matter what mood I was in. When I wanted to focus, the game had plenty of charm to keep me amused. And when I wanted to daze off for a while, the game was simple enough to accommodate me. It's a perfect game for those who want to have fun without putting in a lot of work. Completing it doesn't require anything more than time. So, if you've got nothing better to do, or if you're even remotely a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, then this one might be right up your alley. I am blown away with how much fun I had with LEGO Pirates of the Caribbean. Granted, that's not a big statement considering that most of the LEGO games are actually pretty good and fun, but there was something different. I experienced a lot more connectivity with this game than I did with LEGO Star Wars, and there is a big quality jump between the two games. For a completionist out there, I have to say that this game is definitely worth it. You get to play a LEGO recreation of the Pirates ride at Disneyland, and that's my favorite ride. So the fact that that's the end goal for all of this is a fascinating and awesome experience that I'm glad I went on. So with that in mind, guys, I give this game my completionist rating of complete it.
Complete it!
That's all the time we have for today, guys, so please, as always, let me know about today's episode somewhere on the internet. If you like this video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up and say something in the comments below. If you're new here, hey, do me a favor, click that subscribe button. It's the circle with the controller and the fist. And if you're visiting from last week and you missed out on Fire Emblem, give it a click right here as well. That's it. That's all, guys. Go see the movie and let me know what you think. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope. Bye.